Hey, so what's up guys? So I was looking around online one day and I was looking at fishing stuff and saw these really cool designs being put on fishing rods, but I couldn't figure out exactly how they were doing it. So I researched and researched and researched, and I finally figured out that they were using a loom on the rod to take and weave sewing line onto the rod to make designs. So I got to looking around and I wanted to give it a try, but I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on it. But I wanted something that I could use that would be fairly close to what one of the better designs is, that I consider one of the better designs. What seemed like the high-end version was the Wonder Weaver. That seemed to be where you could do a design on 360 degrees of the rod. Just seemed to be a really cool design, but also seemed to be a whole lot of money. It was $300. So that wasn't really in my budget, just to, on a whim, give it a try. So I started looking around, trying to figure out a way that I could come up with my own version. So I did that, and I'm going to show you what I did right now. So here is my design, and what I used was PVC pipe, just regular screws with the end protectors, and this right here is foam that you use for paint with stencils that you take and put it in this paint and then put it on something to make a stencil. So what I did is I took I believe this is 1.5 inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe, and these are just couplings. So what I did is, you can see here, the end is still on this piece. I took and cut it off close to where the middle of the pipe or the coupling was, so that I would have a little bit in here to where when I put it on there it would have a nice reveal over and look a nice finished edge. This side doesn't have it, but both of these sides do. Then what I did is just took and drilled a hole down in there and tapped it with just a normal everyday tap. Run the screws in, and then you can take and screw the screw out with your fingers like so on all three sides like that. Put your rod in there, tighten it up, get it centered, and you're good to go. But back to how it was actually made. So I took this piece here and I judged off of pictures. I just kind of guessed at what I thought the length was, and then cut it at that. I took the couplings and I would cut them off so that I would have a nice good piece here, and then I had to take and go through and sand all the insides so that the inside, so it would fit nice and snug, but that it would also move so that I could pull these good and snug on there for when I was doing my weaving on the rod. The hard part was after I got these cut to size. To cut these to size, by the way, I just used a hole saw. I believe it was a 3 inch and 1.5 inch hole saw. Just took and cut it in reverse so that it wouldn't tear this up. Got the 3 inch hole cut first. That left me with my center hole to use as exact center for the inside hole. Got all three of these cut, no problem. Wasn't no big deal at all. The hard part was figuring out how to get all these little slits in there. So what I did with that, I started thinking about it, and I needed something that was 360 degrees that I could use to make my marks all the way around, and then be able to transfer them onto these pieces here. So I got to thinking about a degree wheel for use on automotive type projects. So what I did is I found this degree wheel. Is from machinerycleaner.com. It's a Ducati V-twin degree wheel. Didn't really matter to me. I just wanted 360 degrees. I ended up only using 90 degrees of it, and I would just take and draw a line. I didn't do all 360 degrees. I did every other degree. So I would take my piece here, center it up on there, and would make a mark at every other one for 90 degrees. When I had it on there, I also made a mark at 90, 180, 270, and at 0. So I would make all my marks from 0 to 90. I would rotate it 90 degrees. I would make all my marks again, rotate it 90 degrees, make all my marks again, rotate it 90 degrees. That gave me all my degree marks all the way around. So it's about 180 marks that I put on there. I think that's more than enough for my purposes. If you wanted to get even more in depth and go with all 360, it would be extremely difficult, and this would have to be a little bit bigger, I think, because even cutting this with a very, very sharp carpet knife, which is the ones with just the straight blade, it was extremely hard to be able to get each individual one, because there's some places, like right in here, you can see where the cuts kind of come together and didn't work exactly like I wanted it to. There's others, like right here, where it worked great. But I figured this would work great for giving it a shot and see if this is something that I actually want to do. So it's set up so it goes on a rod like this. I used the longer bolts here on these three because these parts go on the smaller ends of the rod. I used a shorter screw on this end because this is usually where a handle would go through, so it needs to be a lot bigger so I don't have to screw it down as much. But you would set that on the rod, make out your left list, and then just take and put your thread on there, thread it back and forth, and away you go. The biggest thing is figuring out where your 0 line is and keeping your lines straight on both of them, because I did not put a numbering system on here, so that is something that I'll have to figure out when I try to get it going. I kind of wish I did, but with as close as these marks are together, writing on this stuff is not easy at all. So that isn't going to work exactly right, but I think it's a pretty good interpretation of the Wonder Weaver. Take and write me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any ideas to make it better, or if you have any ideas about actually marking on this how which individual line it is. Like I said, it's 180 different cuts on each of these three. So keeping all that straight can be a little tedious, but I made it to save money, not to be real easy. So, but that's my interpretation. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.